All right, what is going down, everybody? Welcome back to another brand new Am I Still on the Air? And if you've been with us for any kind of time, you know what it is. It's January, it's a new year, it's a new day. Yes, it is. And we are back to talk about our top 10 of 2020 and our top 10 most anticipated of 2021. Yes, this is the big countdown episode. We do it every single year, reflecting back on what has come and what we should be excited about coming in the future. Now, it's going to be a crazy one because we had a lot of shifting around. Obviously, y'all know how 2020 went. Most of the films that were back, if you go back and rewind and listen to our earlier 2020 episode, you would know that most of those movies did not come out for the most part. Only a handful did. So this was a very interesting list, kind of putting everything together of what was the quote unquote best. Because I'm going to say right now, it wasn't that great of a year. So, hey, whatever made it. So congratulations. But this is Am I Still in the Air? This is getting the squad back together. We're doing this in audio and video format. So welcome. And let's introduce Frigginz and Peeps. What up, y'all?
Hey, everybody.
What's going down? Thanks for having me on. I love it.
Welcome back. We got to do it. This is the annual tradition. Like I said, every January, trying to comb through everything that's come before and figure out what did we enjoy the most? Was it really truly the best films of 2020? Maybe not. Depends. But it's what we enjoyed the most. So that's what matters right here, right? What's stuck with us looking back and reflecting on that year. As you know, 2020, man, we were hot and heavy January, February, March, and then mid-March we went, and then theaters closed down, and they were down for March, April, May, June, July, and August we kind of returned a little bit. Some of us did, some of us didn't, and we were watching some stuff on VOD, and we were waiting for rentals and streaming and everything in between there. But I'm looking back, I'm reflecting on what was some of the stuff that we were anticipated about on the last episode when we did this a year ago. And it kind of sucks because a lot of the movies, like we said, that we were expecting and we were excited for ended up getting pushed back due to the pandemic to 2021. So 2021 is jam-packed. So it's going to be interesting to see how the anticipated list kind of pans out. But we're going to start, of course, to wrap up 2020. Okay,
it'll be the last time we ever get to talk about 2020. Like,
I
2019 and then 2021 from now on.
I hope. So some of this stuff we watched in theaters. Some of this stuff, like I said, we watched on streaming. We watched on premium VOD. That we were all over the place this year. But you know what? At least some content was still coming because Hollywood was shut down for months and we didn't know what we were going to get. We didn't know what was going to be expected. So we'll jump into it, man. Top 10 of 2020. Now, I'm gonna let Peep speak here real quick because I think he's got a little bit of a gap here, and I'm gonna let him explain kind of what he's doing on this countdown here.
All right, y'all. So I don't want to take up too much time, but yes, pandemic happens. I'm a single dad of two. So with homeschooling, along with keeping everybody entertained, and I just found out 2 months ago. Yeah, 2 months ago that the theater that I normally go to is open. Don goes to a theater way over there. The theater I go to that's like 5 minutes away. I just found out that was actually open. So so haven't had a lot of time. So my top 10 has been transformed into a top 7. I have seen more than 7 movies. Let me explain that. I have seen more than 7 movies, but I am not putting a lot of those movies on my top 10. So my top 7 of this year, and I'll leave it at that.
There you go. So I like the setup there that he has seen more than 7 films, ladies and gentlemen, but this is the top 10. This is the best of the best, and we don't want to just start including just whatever just because we got to fill the top 10. So I appreciate you taking the high road there and saying I'm only going to do 7 films that deserved it.
And 10 through 8, I'll throw in a movie, an anticipated 2020 that I want to see.
Well, I think that even if there's you still saw 10 movies, so I'm gonna be the contrarian here and say like it should have been 10. What are the
No,
best 10 of what
I
you
can't.
saw?
I can't.
Because there's still you could still rank them like it still could suck, but one sucks less than the other. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, but
that
I
could have
get it,
filled in
man.
those
That's
last
painful.
spots.
You don't want to just include a movie in your top 10 that you're
Right.
like, dude, that was not
Gotta
good.
deal with what you got, man. You gotta do, and I will go on the record as to say there were some pretty good movies that did come out here in 2020. Granted, we missed a whole lot of blockbusters that we were expecting, and that's because they really wanted their money. But like, I think there was still a pretty solid amount of good films that ended up coming out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's get on into it. So I guess me and Frigginz will do our 10 and 9 and 8, and then we'll all triple down on our 7 through 1. So Frigginz, I'll let you start it off, man. What was your number 10?
It's funny because like as you were saying that, I was like, all right, I've been so ready for this because I've been creating my list like so for like a million years ago, and then I was like, oh crap, he's probably gonna come to me first, and I don't have my list literally pulled up, so I was just stalling right there to get my list up.
As
And
you're
I am-
stalling right now to continuously.
My
pull
number
that up.
10 is actually one of
Could have
our.
just been like, no, Don, it's your show. I'm just gonna bounce it back to you, and I want you to.
That's
go ahead
another
and
way to
start.
do it. Yeah, exactly. So my number 10 is actually one of our DC films that came out this year. And surprisingly, I was not expecting this to be on my list. I did not, especially after trailers come out and everything, I didn't think that it would even make the top 10, and it probably wouldn't if it was under normal circumstances. But number 10 for me is Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, the Fabulous Emancipation of Harley, whatever damn title you give this. Fantabulous. That's right. See, I don't even remember. There's like 20 different title names for this thing. So that hits my number 10. Do you just want to list them, or do we breaking it down and talk a little bit of why?
I mean, you can
that's
talk a
number
little
10?
bit about why. Yeah,
Cool.
as we do, as
So-
we usually do.
For number 10, this is my 10. I did enjoy it. I've heard so many people, especially on Twitter, just flat out bashing this movie, calling it complete and utter trash and garbage. And I could see where they're coming from. Like, if you break it down, like, critically, it's not, like, the best acting, obviously. It's not the best story. They definitely, if you're a hardcore DC fan and you want, these, character accurate depictions, there's a lot of that they played with and modified, but it hit things that I really like it hit the violence, with the action. I thought that was really entertaining. I liked the choreography of some of those fight scenes were just really fun to watch. It was visually appealing to the eyes. I like the characters that they did, and granted, I have some nitpicks. It's not a perfect movie for me. It doesn't get a 5-star or anything, but I did like the Black Canary. I did like Huntress, and of course Harley. So they had a lot of good aspects to it that were enough for me to enjoy the film. Again, not saying it doesn't have problems, because there's plenty of problems to be had, and this is why it's lower on my list than higher up. But I laughed. I did a few of those moments, and so there was a lot that I enjoyed out of it. So for me, it makes the list because it was enjoyable. I'm not calling it a good movie critically, but this is my list for Fred. So if you hated it, that's fine, but I enjoyed it. So that's my 10.
There you go. Okay. Well, I agree with you. I like the movie as well too, but I will say right now it did not make my top 10. Close, probably 11 or 12. When I usually start ranking these out, I'm looking at what did I score them throughout the year and then trying to place them in order from there. And the crazy thing is, looking at my top 10, there are 0 5-star movies this year.
Wow.
Which is definitely kind of crazy. I mean, there was nothing that just there wasn't that Endgame, there wasn't that Infinity War, there wasn't anything that just walked away saying that that was the best, and so that made it interesting, kind of putting the list together earlier today as well too. So really like Birds of Prey, but yeah, it just barely missed my top 10 there. What about you, Peeps? What do you think? Or is it still to come?
It's still to come.
All right. Cool.
It's on my top 7.
It was up higher for the majority of the year for me as well. It's just a couple things I saw at the end kind of squeezed in there.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, then we will get to my number 10, which is kind of crazy because I never in a million years thought this movie would have made the top 10 at all. And I was very shocked as I started kind of piecing things together. I was like, you know what? It kind of deserves it. And it's going to land right in there in that top 10 spot. And that is Sonic.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, baby. Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm shocked, man. I am shocked that this thing slid in there for me. But you know what? Dude, this was a pleasant surprise. This was a very pleasant surprise.
Very much.
I saw it 2 or 3 times in the theater with my daughter. We bought it. We watched it at home. I mean, it's funny. It's fun. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, it's probably the best comic book movie of all time.
Video game, yes.
Yeah, video game movie, sorry. But yeah, I mean, hell of a fun ride and looking forward definitely to the sequel. And I never thought I would have said that going into last year's show. So,
Never.
I made fun of the trailer when the original one came out.
Oh my God, yes. It was so bad. And, even the new one, I was making fun of it. Like when I went to watch it, I was like hate watching it and ended up liking it too.
There you go. See? Good. So there you go. That's my number 10 is Sonic. So I'm sure Peeps saw it, so maybe it's yet to come.
It's yet to come.
All right.
I'm looking at it right there.
All right. Frigginz, number 9. What you got?
All right, so my number 9 is, we've talked about this film a little bit, and so I already know there's going to be some hate coming my way. Bring it, Peeps. But my number 9 is Underwater. I freaking loved this movie. I thought it was so fun. I'm not even a big Kristen Stewart fan, but let me tell you what, she did excellent in this role. I feel like this role was made for her. Like, her personality and tone, like, she nailed it. The suspense from the beginning. Like, I remember the opening scene and I'm like, oh, all right, here we go. We're going to have like 30 minutes of character explanations. No, it starts off almost immediately with some crazy stuff happening. And then it's one thing after another, after another, after another. And it's just continually going. Does it, again, we're not talking a perfect movie here. There are things that I didn't like about it. There were things that I did think, could have done better or whatnot. But I thought it was a lot of suspense. It reminded me, and I'm not comparing it, but it gave me that Alien vibe of being trapped in a small place and you can't get out of the building situation, trying to survive. So I really enjoyed that. It brought back some of those feelings. And for me, it was a fun, suspenseful, entertaining film. And I was very happy with the performances that, not just Kristen Stewart, but everyone else that was involved as well. So number 9.
All right. Did you ever see Underwater, Peeps?
Yep, I did.
Thoughts? What you got?
Is it one that did not make the 8, 9, or 10?
It did not make the anything list. Yes. I remember Fred actually recommended this movie to me. Mm-hmm. Being that he is not a fan of the horror genre, I thought that was a big deal. I was like, wow, he doesn't like this stuff and he likes this stuff. So me being a big fan of that kind of stuff, I was pretty excited about it. Maybe if I picked up the movie with zero expectations, I might have had a different experience, but I don't think so, because I very much enjoyed the mystery and the WTF-ery that the experience when the movie started. You don't know what's going on. Stuff is exploding. They're trapped and they got to get to places, and then things are flying around. And the movie peaked for me when they got to the point where they were going inside, and though you saw like beings standing up and like looking down at them. I'm like, what is going on? And then after that, it just kind of went downhill. I don't like the whole mother monster creature with all the babies kind of thing.
Let's watch the spoilers.
Spoiler. Are we gonna say spoilers? I mean, are we dropping spoilers?
No, we don't really need spoilers.
Okay.
So yeah, I will, without getting too much into it and doing a whole movie review. After that point, it just kind of went downhill for me, and even the very end of the movie, I did not like how it ended, and I felt kind of let down towards the end. I was like, yeah.
That's a perfect depiction of your experience. I like it. I feel like I was there with you.
Yeah.
It's good.
I still am yet to see this movie, so no spoilers for myself. But I did try to watch it once. I know, Friggin's been hyping it up ever since he saw it, and I tried to watch it several months back, and I watched it at like 1 a.m. and just ended up passing out like 15 minutes into it.
I can see that.
And I was like, but now it's on HBO Max. And I've added it to my queue. I'm like, one of these days I will try it again. I don't know. I did want to, I don't know why I still have hesitated, to be honest, because it was one that I probably would have seen in the theater if I had the right chance. But I forget what happened at that time. And I know obviously our other friend, Geeky Pat, had no interest in seeing it, and I think that's kind of why I didn't end up seeing it. We ended up seeing something else, and then it just was pretty much out of the theater after that week because it didn't do very well. Yeah.
I do remember it being too dark, and I didn't like the too darkness of it. I wanted to see more, and I could not because, again, they're underwater and there's bits and particles floating all over the place. But I think that's a way of being, lazy on your CGI, and you don't have to put that much effort into it because it's also
I saw it in the theater, and it definitely, this is one of those ones where I think the theater experience did help because up on the big screen you saw more, and of course the room's all dark and everything. So, but yeah, I could see that being a problem for sure.
All right, well, we will get into my number 9, and my number 9 here is the last movie that some of us saw in the original run of theaters, and that is our good boy Bloodshot, Vin Diesel, coming out as Bloodshot. Now, this was, I know, me and Friggin's last movie in the theater before the original shutdown happened back in March, and then we didn't have movies for a long time. And every time we see that question pop up on Twitter, and they're like, "What's the last movie you saw?" It's always Bloodshot. But I actually really, really like this movie. I mean, I just thought the action was cool. I love the concept of this character. I love somebody that can take damage like that and regenerate. And I just thought it was a fun ride, man. Is it the greatest movie? No. But once again, it's just, did you have a fun ride? Did you have a fun time sitting and watching it? And, this was an interesting one too, because like I said, saw it in the theater, and then theater shut down. And like a week after that, it was already out to buy. Like 2 weeks later. So it was kind of interesting. Before the end of March, I already owned it and watched it again. And just, like I said, man, just a fun ride. So it slid in there. It was on that one was on my most anticipated that we did earlier in the year. And it slid into to the best there for me.
It was at least Fred's number 9 and your number 8.
Yeah.
It was on my list because I'm a huge fan of the Valiant comic series. And particularly, my favorite character is Ninjak. And I was praying that he was going to make some, after credit cameo. And I will spoil this. He does not make an after credit cameo. And I had tears. It was so very, very sad. But being a fan of the comic character, I wasn't thrilled about Vin Diesel being cast as this role, but I was like, hey, if that's how I get the movie, then let's do it. Vin Diesel's all right. I enjoy his movies. So I also thought it was entertaining. I liked the action. It was fun. I wouldn't call it a good movie. It's not on my list. It was on there for a little while, but other things kicked it out. But I do think it's worth a watch if you like, nonsense action films. They do some cool, there's some cool stuff. I mean, there's like some cool action situations. They do some cool camera work. They play with some colors and lighting that I wasn't expecting, and I got enjoyment out of that. But if you were a person who, like Peeps, we've talked about the X-Men before, and you're like, oh man, and I always tell you, like, you got to think of it in a different world. That is definitely the Valiant series, because to me, I feel like they took the main character and then did whatever the hell they want. There are some similarities, and they kind of keep it somewhat tied in there, but if you're a hardcore comic fan and you want it to be exactly like the comics, you're not going to get that. But on the positive side, you will get Isa Gonzalez, and I want her to be in every single movie ever made. Amen. So anyway.
Amen. Amen.
But yes, so I saw it. I thought it was good as well. Just didn't make the list. Peeps, did you see this one?
I did not. I actually forgot that it existed. So,
yes.
Not that at first you guys kept talking about it, and I was like, being that guy like, oh, it doesn't even look good, and I'm sure it's a good time. I'm sure it's fun action, and I now that you reminded me of it, I am going to check it out.
Okay.
But I literally completely forgot about it. I'm be honest.
Awesome.
All right. Well, there you go. All right, Fred, number 8.
All right. So this 100% is not on your list, Don. You hate when we add in cartoons on shows.
Boy.
My number 8 is Superman Red Sun. This was a animated
That was
DC
not where I thought
film.
you were going.
No, it was so good. Red Sun is one of my favorite Superman stories in the comic book form. They did such an excellent job of transitioning that comic story into an animated movie version. It was entertaining. It was violent. It was, very much like the comic. They do some adjustments as most of the DC animated movies do, but they didn't shy away from the overall main points of the story. Again, this is one of those ones where, without giving a lot of spoilers, there's going to be some changes, especially towards the end, but nonetheless, it was still very true for the most part, to the comic. Very enjoyable. I really, really like it, and I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. So that one did make my number 8.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I did not see that one. I'm actually obviously a big Superman fan, and but Red Sun has never interested me at all. Like, I just don't care about him as a Russian. Like,
if you like Superman, it's not Superman.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
The name.
Yeah,
absolute, Peeps. You're 100% hit the nail on the head, because he is the opposite of Superman in this case, and even Batman. If you're a big Batman fan, he plays a significant role in this, and even his version is quite different. And I don't know, but as it is interesting. I always love those alternate reality story versions of the heroes we know, because it puts them in situations that they would never normally be in. And so if you want to see what almost a tyrannical Superman would be if he landed in Russia instead of the US and wasn't raised by the farm loving family and was raised by the Russian government.
That is a very specific thing to have always wanted to. Man, I really would like to know what would happen if Superman landed in Russia.
Yeah. There might be someone out there that doesn't know about the book and had that exact thought. So
all right.
If that's you,
that is true. Check
out this movie.
Okay. Did you see that one, Peeps?
Yeah, I did see it. I would not put it on the list. I am not a fan of Superman, and this version of Superman, again, that he's not meant to be likable, and I don't like him. So again, it's a very interesting story and a very interesting twist on the Superman character. And if he was brought up in a different, by different parents with different standards, like this is what we'll get. So it's a very, as Fred would say with a lot of things, like I definitely recommend the watch, especially if you enjoy like animated DC animated films, which are freaking fantastic, by the way. One of them didn't make my list. I definitely recommend, but I didn't like him. The good guy in this one is somebody that I've also never liked, and I still don't like in this one. So it's a fun story, but it's just not memorable enough and didn't hit any of those strings and those things that I like in my superhero sandwich movie.
Okay, well, we will move on into my number 8, and this is a movie as well, looking back on the year, that if somebody would have told me, like, dude, this is going to be in your top 10, I would have been like, nah, dude, nah.
Get the fuck
out of here. Like, I laughed my ass off at this trailer. I was like, this movie is going to be a joke, and really only went to see it because there's really wasn't much playing at the theater at the time, and I was like, you know what? Let's just go and let's just see what's up. And it turned out to be a hell of a ride. So my number 8 is Unhinged, the Russell Crowe movie, the road rage Russell Crowe movie. This was one of the first movies to return to theaters when they reopened. and actually made a good buck when it first came out. Like I said, when I saw the trailer, I was just like, and it was just the way the trailer was cut together. You know, it's like this chick honks at him, and then he's all mad, and then he stalks her like the whole rest of the movie, right? And it's like he's like, I'm having a bad day, and I'm just like, oh my god, this looks like the dumbest like straight to video movie. Like they're just trying to capitalize on being the first movie out the gate when theaters reopen, and I'm not expecting much. And I'll tell you, man, sitting in that theater, me and Geeky Pat went and saw it, and about halfway through the movie, I was like, dude, I am enjoying this way more than I thought I would. And he was like, I know, right? And I was like, we were both just like all giddy, like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And seeing the movie in its full context, I mean, I know what the trailer was trying to go for, but the movie plays out so much better than that. I mean, it is just a thrill ride. It's a dude at the end of his wits, and all it took was her honking at him to really push him over the edge to be like, yo, I'm having a horrible day. My life is complete shit. And now you're going to pay for just being rude. Like, he gives her a chance to apologize. And she's like, fuck you, I ain't apologizing. And he's like, all right, all bets are off. And he just goes at it. And it's a thriller, and it's action packed. And I had a hell of a fun time with this movie. So Unhinged, number 8 up in this piece. So, Frigginz, did you ever even see this one?
I haven't seen it yet. It's been on the list of rental movies, and I've damn near clicked it a couple times only because of what you talked about. Because the description you gave it before you went into the film, that's how I felt about the film the whole time as well.
Yeah.
But because of how much you talked about it on your show, I was thinking this might be something worth giving it a shot. And unfortunately, it just didn't make the cut. I was like gonna click it, and I'm like, oh, let me see what this is for instead. And it just kept clicking other things. I probably will give it a shot here soon, but I have not watched it just yet.
All right. Peeps, I guess you haven't seen this one yet.
Correct. I haven't seen it. I've when I first heard about it, and I was listening to some YouTubers talk about it, it reminded me of that older movie Falling Down, the Michael Douglas movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a movie where a dude it just has a bad day, and the whole movie is just his downhill spiral. And it seemed, again, I like the Falling Down movie. It seemed very, very similar. I don't know if the Russell Crowe dude is like the bad guy, or if we're supposed to be actually like feeling sorry for him. I have no idea how they play this, and I am kind of curious how they do it. But I haven't actually seen it. Now that you brought it up, that definitely would be on one of my movies.
Yeah, I'm waiting for this one to go on sale a little bit on Vudu so I could pick it up. I don't want to spend $20 on it, but I'm like, as soon as it goes on sale, I will purchase this one. It's a fun ride, man. If you just go into it and in the first 5 minutes of the movie, like where it's going and where his headspace is at, and it's different. It's different than what you expect based on the trailer. And so I mean, he's a bad dude. He's a bad dude. Okay. But he's there for reasons. So they try to explain it, but he a little cray. He a little cray. All right, so we're moving into the top 7 now, so peeps can join the party at this point.
All right.
So
bring it in.
How about I will just pass it to you then, and we'll loop you in at that point, and we'll have you go number 7, buddy.
You're gonna pass it to me? Well, I do say, Don. All right, so let's go ahead and kick this off. Speaking with the DC animated films, I don't know if any of you guys ended up seeing this one. I was super excited about it when it came out, and I was like, y'all need to see this. And you guys are like, we'll get to it, dude. We'll get to it. Pandemic. There's other stuff we're worrying about. We'll get to it. And y'all, nobody ever said anything about this movie, so I don't know if you guys saw it. But the Justice League Dark Apocalypse movie, War. Yes, that's my number 7. Man, like as stated, the DC films, I just feel like they just somehow are just getting better, and it's crazy because they're really good. From back with the Flashpoint movie, where these are kind of all connected, kind of, but not really, but kind of. All the same voice actors are returning, so I'm sure they are connected, but they're very loosely connected. But man, like, this movie goes hard, and I had no idea that Constantine was the main like character in this, and I thought it was going to be like a Superman Batman story, but no, it just follows John Constantine. And I know nothing about not that I know nothing about him, but I haven't seen enough of Constantine like Frigginz and Geeky Pat have to know anything about him. But like, I want to see a Constantine movie like with this character. Like, it's really fun. I would like everybody, to check this out. And again, even though all these movies are connected, you don't have to watch any of the other movies to really understand what's going on. Like you go into it never seeing any of the other animated DC films, and you're good to go. And this is like a rated R film as well. So things that Fred always talks about, oh man, they should make it rated R, and we always laugh about Star Wars being rated R and roll our eyes to that concept. But so man, you want a cartoon character animated movie with people getting torn in half, and but they go hard in this movie. So Justice League Dark Apocalypse War of the Justice League Dark.
I haven't seen this one yet. It is definitely on my list. I keep waiting for one of my buddies to get it so I can watch it for free. But I'm going to check it out eventually at some point. And the reason I didn't watch it is because I also love the DC animated movies, but I like the one-offs that are not connected. So after Flashpoint, a little fun fact for you. So like you mentioned, the little DC world from Flashpoint to that movie has been, the same actors doing the voices and this continual story, the DC animated universe. And then they release these one-offs that are based on popular comics like the Red Sun, where it's not connected. But this Justice League Dark one that you're talking about is actually the bookend piece for this connected world. So now they're supposedly stopping that connected world, and now it's going back to something else, which we don't know about yet. But that is, Peeps, and I'm not sure, maybe it's said this in the movie or not, but that is the end of that continuation of that world.
Yeah, that may or may not be very apparent at the end.
All right, I'll have to check it out and see.
So I did see this movie. I thought it was just okay. I didn't really care for it that much. So it was all over the place for me. I mean, like all these random characters just popping up that seem to have nothing to do with each other, just there to be there.
They could be in there, yeah.
Yeah, just trying to have a bunch of names pop up. I mean, I did dig that it was mostly around Constantine and even like Raven. Like I like that there was those, different focuses from some of the other major characters. But overall, I had higher expectations for it because I did hear a lot of great things about it. So that's why I jumped in, because I really don't rush to see the animated movies super often. But I heard so much good stuff about that one that I really wanted to see what was up. And yeah, I walked away from that one just kind of, it was all right. So it did not make my list.
What I'll say about all the little cameos that pop up, like a lot of people die in this, and I think that's kind of the reason. Oh, there's a character that pops up. Oh, oh, he did. and fans of the comics, seeing sorry, but like Swamp Thing pop up, like, oh, he's bad at, and then get taken out. You're like, oh shit, this is kind of a big deal. So. Yeah.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
There you go. All right, Frigginz, number 7.
To continue on with our animated films, I will throw in my number 7, which is also an animated film. This was actually number 1 for a while. And Peeps, once I say this, you're going to be like, oh, of course. Mortal Kombat. Scorpion's Revenge. This was
of course
freaking amazing. Thank you, Peeps. It's correction, Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge. If you haven't seen Mortal Kombat, and if you are a fan of the Mortal Kombat, watch this animated film. From the opening scene, I instantly felt like I got everything I've ever wanted in a Mortal Kombat movie of sorts. And it is centered on the character Scorpion, but and without, again, not giving too much away because I want you to watch it, it's like if you took the original 90s Mortal Kombat movie and then you kind of did almost the same thing, but you throw in Scorpion as a main character, and you also amp up the violence to where there's like Quentin Tarantino style blood flying all over the place.
Who's got a bird thing?
He does not. He has the chain, which is better version. So sticking more true to the characters. It was very, very entertaining. It's super violent and has a lot of the really popular characters involved in it. So definitely worth a watch, especially if you're a big Mortal Kombat fan like myself. So that's my number 7.
Fun.
Okay. I would check this one out. I have not seen it yet, though. I do want to see it just because of how violent you said it was, and I'm curious to see.
It's worth it.
Curious
Especially the opening
of that aspect.
Right off the bat, too. It's great.
Nice. Fortunately, I'm sorry, Fred. I haven't seen this. You have been ranting and raving about this movie ever since you've seen it. I have not, and I know you're a huge, not just Mortal Kombat fan, but like Scorpion is your dude. So I'm sure that's why, you were super stoked about this. I'm not a big Scorpion fan. I've liked more the villain Shang Tsung, reptile characters in Mortal Kombat. So another movie I forgot about. It came out. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll check it out. But just
put it on the list. It's good. You'll like it.
It's such a big ass list. All right, it's on the list. It's on the list.
His list never ends. All right, my number 7 is another March movie. Before the theaters shut down this past March, I was really interested in it, and it ended up being a really amazing film, and that is the Ben Affleck movie, The Way Back. The Way Back was an amazing movie. He is fantastic in it. It's a dude just kind of hit rock bottom, lost his wife, and he's drinking, he's alcoholic. He gets this second chance to coach this basketball team, and of course he's shitty at it at the beginning, and it's typical kind of sports, type movie where everything kind of comes together more towards the end. But the twists and turns, the acting, this movie hit really, really hard. And when I went back and I just kind of looked back over the year, this one stands out big time for me. So The Way Back is my number 7.
I absolutely concur with everything you said. This would have been in my honorable mentions category. It really knocked my socks off. I wasn't expecting to enjoy this film as much. It is a hard watch because it really dives into alcoholism and the issues and the problems that come along with that. But it is extremely captivating, and I found myself like I couldn't peel my eyes off the screen. And as per usual, Ben Affleck is a stellar actor. I mean, I always go back to when you said your argument is invalid on one of your episodes many years ago. Yes. But I ever, especially since Argo, I've just been like dumbfounded with what he can do, and he's like true to that form in this role. So definitely recommend watching it as well.
Oh, yeah. What about you, Peeps?
Haven't seen it. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. But everyone that likes movies likes The Accountant, and apparently it's the same dude that did that one. So, I mean, I'm sure it's. I'm not putting it on the list yet. It's going to be on the. It's in the mental list that I definitely won't forget.
You need to add it to the list.
It's on your reserve list.
All right.
It's a great movie. Come on, man. If it makes this top 10, you should be adding it to the list. Especially with the year we had.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, then let's jump right into number 6. So, Peeps, what you got number 6?
My number 6 is Friggin's number 10. That'll be Birds of Prey. So, much like Friggin said, I mean, it was a good time. Like it kind of had me think of like the Transformers movies or Triple X, where I don't think I went in there for compelling acting and for like grand storylines. I just wanted to just lose myself to a movie and have fun. And parts that I was rolling my eyes at, like her going into a police station and just glitter bombing everybody to an oblivion. It's like, really? Like, is that how incompetent Gotham City police officers are?
Right.
But like, whatever, because I was cracking up like the whole time. It was ridiculous. So at that point, I'm like, all right, brain is off. I'm gonna just take it out and just sit it right here next to me, and I'm gonna put it back on when the movie's over. So lots of good times. And I don't want to like bash it too much because I think people have done that enough. But there are things that even Friggin's was a little upset with characters that are in it that he wishes was portrayed in a different way. But me not knowing anything about a lot of these characters, I just, all right, I'll take it. I'm good with it. Ramona Flowers is in it. I love anytime I see her in a movie for some freaking reason, just automatically like, yes, I'm a fan. So again, man, it was great. Badass chicks doing badass things, and I don't know, it was a fun time. I don't like that they turned her into Deadpool, I guess is my own, but like DC doesn't really have a Deadpool, so why not?
They do now.
Whatever, they do now. So let's go with it. I mean, I could even see Harley kind of like breaking the fourth wall. Like, why not? I don't know. It's pretty fun. So, yes.
I just want that breakfast sandwich. I'm still waiting to get my hands on that.
DC's releasing the breakfast sandwich.
It looks so good. All right. Well, there you go. Our first revisit that matched up over here is the Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn. So yeah, making that number 6 spot right there. So Fred, what you got at number 6?
Well, first, fun fact, that is actually the only 2020 movie that I have seen multiple times. Oh. I thought that was interesting. Anyway, so my number 6, I have a feeling is going to be on your list, Don, probably a little bit higher, but is Tenet. Tenet was on my most anticipated list of this 2020 year, and unfortunately, I did not see it in theater. I know you did, Don, but I was still being overly cautious and decided to postpone and wait for the streaming release. So watching it at home, I think there is probably something that I missed as far as, being on IMAX like it was intended. But nonetheless, Christopher Nolan does not disappoint. Like, I absolutely was enthralled with this film. It was confusing as hell, and I feel like I should have went to college and got a master's degree or a doctorate before I watched this film, because I don't know really what the hell was going on, but it was fun, it was enjoyable. I was confused a lot, but then it would be really cool. So I really liked that whole experience. He does not hold back either as far as like the speed of the film, the level of the vocabulary. I mean, they just go. And if you don't pick up on it, too bad. And that is, a hard part of that. But I also, like that. Yes, that's exactly. I like that too, because it's not holding your hand of the audience and walking you through and shoving like things in your face every 5 seconds. They're
Logan. Yeah. Continue, Fred. I'm sorry. Was I off mute? I'm sorry.
But yes, I enjoyed it. I thought it was super fun. I like the fact that they didn't hold our hand. I like the fact that it's confused me. You may want to watch it with subtitles, which you can pick up on the words a little bit easier because they go quick. And nonetheless, though, it's a good time. I thought it was well done. I love the score. I love the action. I love the shots. And I do feel like I missed something for not seeing it on IMAX.
You did. I will say that for sure. The theatrical experience of this movie is phenomenal. I mean, it was meant for IMAX. It was meant for the big screen. The sound, the visuals, everything. So, yeah, I saw it multiple times in the theater, and it is higher up on my list. So I'll come back around. But yeah, Peeps, have you seen Tenet yet?
That is higher on my top anticipated movies of 2020. 100% with what you were saying. I wanted to watch it in the theaters, and because I thought my local theater was closed down for so long, I didn't. And I can now, but I really wanted to get that theatrical experience. I missed Inception in the movies. I feel like I kind of I definitely regretted that. Watching it at home, I just kind of wanted some of those dubstep sounds to feel that theatrical experience. So, but yeah, this movie, man, I love it when I watch a trailer and I'm like, I don't know what happened, but I want to watch that.
Yes.
And the fact that, again, Fred, like directors and writers, how they are able to show us things and let us interpret things for ourselves instead of he actually wants to kill himself because he has been through a lot of mutant activity. I'm not talking about Logan. I'm just saying, but
don't bash on that movie, man.
All right. Yeah. I want to watch it.
All right. Well, we'll move in now to my number 6, and this is fresh for me because this is the movie I actually just saw in the theater this past Friday night. And I went in. Now, this movie came out on Christmas Day, so even though I saw it in 2021, it was technically a 2020 film. And this is a movie that was supposed to come out earlier in the year, obviously got pushed back due to the pandemic. But I always thought it looked really, really good. But man, I was blown away at how good it was. And my number 6 is Promising Young Woman. This is a film that is super duper intriguing. This is basically the premise is around a woman who lost her friend due to actually they're very vague about how she lost her, but what it was is while they were in college, her friend was taken advantage of by some dudes, and so she ends up kind of almost like going out, and she pretends she's drunk to kind of get back at these guys that are trying to take advantage of women that are, you know, drunk or kind of out of their wits. So she's kind of getting payback from a specific group of people, and it's super intriguing. I don't want to give too much away. I'm trying to stay kind of spoiler free on it, but just watch the trailer. You get a good grasp on kind of what they're going for, and I loved it. I just thought it was super intriguing the way it played out, and it's a movie that really takes a real hard left turn kind of towards the end. And I was like, wow, okay, like I respect them for kind of going somewhere different, and hell of a movie that really stuck with me, and just immediately I knew coming right out of the theater this was going to fall in my top 10 of the year. Was just trying to figure out where it kind of fell, but yeah, number 6 for me is Promising Young Woman.
That is definitely the shocker for me. I was not expecting you to add that one on there. So surprised I didn't get the fuck out of here with the Red Sun. And I was like gonna drop a WTF for that one because that was not expected at all. And I don't know anything about this until you just mentioned it right now. So
I haven't heard of it.
I will check out the trailer and take a gander.
Yes, take a gander. It's very, very interesting. The trailer kind of sets it up very loose, so you kind of get an idea, and it leaves it kind of good there, so it doesn't really spoil anything, and just kind of gives you an idea of what she's doing, which, like I said, is pretty much just trying to get back at these scumbag dudes. So
hey, I'm already good. I don't need to watch the trailer. I just want to watch it. So
yeah, it's awesome. So that's my number 6. So all right, let's jump right on into number 5. So we'll roll on over to you, Peeps. What you got?
all right, remember everybody, I'm a parent, so the movies that I did see, it's probably from here on in, it's probably going to be a little rough ride. But let me tell you, man, and again, I know this happens every year, but there is just something about these animated movies, man. It's like I go in there, with my littles, and the three of us are just dying, laughing, having such a good time, and then on top of that, on top of the funny, silly things that they throw in these movies, they'll either A, have like really good music, or B, actually have a compelling story. And I'm like, I didn't expect to actually get engrossed in this movie, but I end up doing it, and I do anyway, so whatever. So Trolls 2 World Tour. I had a blast watching this movie. This was actually, this happens a couple times every year, but I'll end up getting the movie, and we'll have it at home, and I'm like, hey everybody, because they want to watch the same animated or the same anime movies over and over and over again. And when I finally get Trolls 2, I'm like, hey guys, we got Trolls 2. You want to watch it? Yeah. And then the second, we got Trolls 2. You want to watch it again? They're like, sure, I guess, whatever. I'm like, all right, guys, let's go. So I was more excited about watching this movie more than them. Again, soundtrack, I love movies with good musical scores to it. And this one was great. Story was, but it kind of had some like, I don't know. I would say like some kind of like World War II, like ours is, better than all. It tones to it, and it's all about like our music is better than everybody else's music, and we are going to get rid of everybody's music, so only our music is the music that everybody it'll just be the one above all or whatever. So I don't know, kind of sinister, kind of dark, but very, play jokey. And, I like the first Trolls a lot. And I like this one too. So 2 tears in the bucket. Fuck it. I said fuck it. And I like Trolls 2 in the same sentence. So yes.
Ooh.
All right.
Did you see it, Fred?
No. I do like watching animated films, and the songs were the intriguing part for me. But I didn't end up taking. I still haven't even seen the first one, to be honest.
Okay. Well, I saw Trolls 2, and I'll agree. It's a really fun movie. It's a good time. It would never make my top 10 in a million years. But I mean, this was a fun one. I mean, my daughter absolutely loves this movie to death. This was one of the first movies after the shutdown that was straight to VOD. This is when Universal pissed off all the movie theater chains because they were like, it was supposed to hit theaters, and then the theater shut down, and they said, F it, we're going to premium VOD, rent it for $20 for 48 hours. And I rented it. My daughter watched it twice in that 48-hour time because she really, really liked it. And then a couple months later, I bought it when it came out. So we've seen it multiple times. She has the little guitar and plays the songs and stuff. The story it was funny to me because it felt very Infinity War. Like the rock chick was just trying to collect the Infinity Stones.
Much,
Together her gauntlet, which was the guitar. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely a fun ride. All the different music genres were great. And I mean, it's a fun movie. I mean, definitely one of the better kid movies of the year for sure. So Trolls World Tour, baby. Yeah. All right, Fred, what you got? Number 5.
Well, actually, keeping up with the theme of animated films that pull at the heartstrings and have good music, as you mentioned. I wish it would have had maybe a little bit more music, but my number 5 is Soul. This is a film that I knew absolutely nothing about. I threw it on with literally. I mean, I think I saw a poster for it, and maybe that's it. And I had no clue as to what was going to happen with the film. And like within the first 15 minutes, like something happened, and I look over and I'm like, did that just happen? And then like it goes on from there. And I was in for a total surprise ride watching this thing because I think part of the reason it hit so well for me was the fact that I knew absolutely nothing about it. And honestly, I think that if I had seen a trailer, it may have impacted my experience of it. But everything that was happening was kind of like unexpected, especially in the beginning. And then going from there, I just really got into it, and it really hit on those heartstrings for me. I think it encapsulated so much. There was just really good jokes in it. There was good music in it. There was I like the story, so it had a little bit of everything for me, and that makes my number 5. Soul.
Okay, I will say, I saw Soul Christmas Day. My daughter liked it. Me and my wife, we were like, it was all right. It just, I mean, not a bad movie. I gave it 3.5 out of 5. I mean, it was good. It just, I don't know. It's not one that I feel is going to have any kind of replay value. If it's very dire in a lot of parts, and for a kid movie, it's very heavy. So, but done beautifully. Obviously, it's a Pixar film. It looks great. So, I mean, but yeah, this would not be anywhere near my top 10 for the year. But yeah.
That's fair.
I know Peeps I think kind of similar vibes, but what you got on Soul?
I'm 100% with you, Don. This movie was on my number 7 for most anticipated.
I remember you were the first one that talked about it last year.
Yeah. I mean, just the cast, Jamie Foxx. I mean, I love his music. I love him as actor. Like, Pixar. Like, I was really excited about this movie, but I unlike you, Fred, I don't feel I got enough music. But it's a Pixar movie. They normally don't have like, they're not musical film. So, but I still wanted more jazz, more blues. And I think I found myself overall, I just literally finished watching it an hour ago. My kids want to keep watching it. I don't like Jamie Foxx's character. He is self-centered, and he only thinks about himself. And I don't want to spoil it for those that have seen it, but the way that it ends, like, I don't see any character growth. Like that's the whole bit, is that he's, you see it from the trailer. He dies, and he wants to get back to his body, and he's he's only focused on that. And I don't like the journey that he takes. I don't. And like I said, also the lack of music, and I feel like a lot of the humor kind of fell flat, and I wanted it to go a specific direction, and it did not. So yeah, not too much of a fan. But again, all the other pieces, the music that it did have was great. It was animated. Tina Fey was okay. It felt like she was trying to channel Dory a little bit. I don't know, but it was fine. It was fine. I didn't have a bad time watching it. I don't have a bad time rewatching it. I just being in Pixar and being this movie I was really looking forward to just didn't. I had higher expectations than you. So.
Mm-hmm. I had none, and like I said, without the trailer, I think that helped because now it's like one of my favorite Pixar films. I just thought it was great.
Yeah, see, and I think Pixar has been on a kind of a rough slide for me, man, because I didn't care for Onward, and
correct,
and now Soul. So I'm just like, they're 2 for 2 this year. That I'm just like, hoping the next one knocks it up the park there. We'll have to wait and see. So, all right, my number 5 is going back to more of the beginning of the year. So I'm glad that it kind of stuck around and it held its place down through and through of 2020. This one came out back in February, so it's almost a year old at this point. And my number 5 is The Invisible Man. Oh. So this one here, just directed by Lee Whannell, who did Upgrade, and I absolutely loved Upgrade last year. And his take on this, bringing back something that we've seen done a bunch of times, but just the way Elizabeth Moss plays it in this movie, how scared she is and how no one believes her and no one trusts her. And I love how they use technology to make him invisible. This wasn't just some hollow man like Kevin Bacon. Like this was, he's got this suit that's got reflective cameras and just, that this could really happen with a tech giant doing it and stalking her, and it's creepy and it's violent, and it just, I absolutely love this film. It's one of my favorites, obviously. And yeah, so I've rewatched it at home since it came out, and it holds up, and yeah, absolutely love it. So The Invisible Man is my number 5.
I'll jump in. It is a bit higher on my list, and again, my unfortunate list. Like, this movie probably would have been maybe my 5 or 6. I think if I had a normal list, but because I don't, it's much higher. But there are some pieces of it, I can touch on when I get to it. But I mirror 100% everything you said, Don.
I also saw this film. I waited until it came out on streaming, but this is our reverse of Soul, where I'm, how Peeps was with Soul. Like, I didn't like it almost at all. There was things which is weird because everyone was talking good about it. Everyone I was seeing on Twitter was like, this was so good and so interesting and so different. And while I agree with it, like that it was different and it was, I like the technology aspect that you mentioned as well, but it didn't hit on anything that I really like. I'm not a big horror genre fan that much, although there are a lot that I do like, but this was not one of them. I without giving spoilers or anything, I did like the ending. I kind of saw it coming from a mile away, of course, but I did like that. I thought that was interesting. But overall, I just couldn't really get into it all that much. Again, it was fine. I didn't hate it or anything, but it didn't really do much for me.
It's always so interesting with these lists, man, to see how things affect us all. So
agree. Yeah. I love it.
So crazy.
That's the best thing about film is we see the same thing and we have different reactions. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will shift into number 4. So, Peeps, what you got in the 4 spot?
All right, you guys ready for the first get the fuck out of here?
I'm scared. Actually, you are. Did the Trolls one get that?
He knows what it is. He knows what it is. So, yeah. So, number 4, and again, modified list, but my number 4 is a movie that was supposed to come out some time ago, but it got pushed back. And then it was supposed to come out even less time ago, and then it got pushed back. And then it got pushed back a lot. But it ended up going straight to streaming. I think it had a theatrical release, but with everything else, it was probably at 2 theaters that nobody went to. A lot of people dislike this movie. A lot of people that I know and I hold close to my heart dislike this movie. I will have a little moment to explain why I like this movie, but that movie is my number 4 is New Mutants.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh no! I'm with you on this one. I like this pick.
I actually thought you were going with a different movie at this point. But,
So did I.
But
so
God.
yes. So okay. So all right. Let me just get right into it. I mean, when I first heard, God, man, we have been talking about this movie for some time, on air, off air, and it's the movie that I feel like nobody really asked for, nobody really wanted, nobody had any kind of faith in. Even after the first trailer came out, and some of us were like, "Yeah, cool," and others was like, "Get the fuck out of here." You know, I had no expectations going into this, and you guys saw it before I did, and you're like, "Poo trash! Don't even waste your time." I go and I watch it, and I set it up at home, and I get a nice little bowl of cereal, and I'm eating it, and man, I really enjoyed this movie. I liked the characters. I feel like they did a good job at introducing us, like, kind of Guardians of the Galaxy style, introducing us to each character, and slowly throughout the film giving us a little piece of each character's backstory and who they are. I loved, God, what's her name's magic character? I don't know her real name, but she's also
Ilian.
Yeah. Well, I mean Anna Taylor-Joy, or Anya Taylor-Joy. Anywho, she was great. I loved her and her little puppet that she was talking to the whole time. And again, like, are they in a psych ward? Are they being protected? Are they being used? And like they tied this into Logan, actually using footage from Logan. And I thought that was like pretty fun. It was very confusing, but at the very end, when they kind of explain everything that's going on, it's like, wow, okay, in the world of mutants and in the world of, they are literally these magical beings that can just do whatever the F they want. Like, it made sense. And I highly enjoyed it, from the, the quintessential relationship, that happens in every like movie like this. It's a little bit different because it's same sex, but I thought that was built up pretty well. And even the douchebag Sunspot character that I hated throughout the whole movie, like, he ended up becoming like a character that I enjoyed. Like, I want to see these characters in the future. I truly, truly do. Yes, big CGI monster battle. I've been saying for a longo time, I wish they would just stop doing this at the end of a movie. We don't have to fight a giant CGI monster in our comic book films, but that's what they did, and that's what they do, and fine, whatever. That is the sin I will give this movie. Outside of that, I had a blast. I liked them all. I thought their acting was fine. I didn't even see reshoots. Fantastic Four.
There was no reshoots.
There was no reshoots.
I thought they did do reshoots, no?
No. There was plans to do it, and after it got pushed back like 5 times, they just said, fuck it. We're just going to put it out the way it was.
Okay. Got it. So, but they did change it, right? They kind of like changed the tone, was it? No. Okay.
There's the original director's cut. Yeah.
All right. So, shit. I did enjoy it. Yeah.
I want to clarify, Peeps, when you say you guys didn't like it, you are specifically referring to Don and Pat, because I also liked it a lot.
It was Don, Pat, and the general public.
World, rest of the world.
97% of the world. So
okay. I just wanted to clarify that I was on your boat with you, and I enjoyed it as well.
3% of us, yeah.
I thought it was fun as well. It has Cannonball, who's one of my favorite characters, so it was really cool to see Cannonball. Magic, of course, was amazing. I was so excited they did the metal arm, the sword, Lockheed, the purple dragon puppet thing. So cool. And it was a surprise for me because of all the bashing it was getting. I mean, people were just like, this is the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, have you seen Knock Knock? Because that was pretty garbage. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Don, I know you like that movie. I like Knock Knock. But no, anyway, I'm with you, Peeps. I just wanted to throw that out there. I did see it, and I'm on your boat.
I will say, It is not truly a get the fuck out of here moment. I did not hate the film. Geeky Pat hated the film. Like, we walked out, he was like barely 2 stars. Like, this movie sucks. I enjoyed it. My biggest beef was just that there's really no action in the movie until the last 10 minutes of it. You know, it's very, very slow. And for an X-Men movie, I just expected more. I don't think it's any of the kids' faults. I just didn't really connect with any of the characters. They were all very boring. Everybody was so sad and just, oh, I'm in this
and broken. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just like, oh my God. Like, so there was nothing really enjoyable about the movie. It was just very blah. And then those last 10 minutes, I absolutely loved when people started using their powers and they were fighting the big bear. Dope. And, you know, I was like, okay, cool. Like, what this could have been, you know, and I do like the ties to Logan, and I like that they were trying to link it a little bit. It just, I don't know, man. I think once again, this suffered from an anticipation being too high. And then after all the pushbacks and all the time, and honestly too, this was the first movie I saw in the theater when they reopened in August, you know, so I was super, super stoked and was like, yes, we're going to the movies again. And honestly, like, you would almost think that any movie would have been really cool to like just be sitting in and be like, I'm back in the theater. But it almost made me more pissed off because it was just like, man, like, I waited all this time and I'm just disappointed walking out of the movie.
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean, it just, like I said, I gave it 3 out of 5. I thought it was good. It just let me down compared to what I expected it to be. And, you know, this one was 50% off for Christmas, so I did buy it and add it to my Voodoo collection because I had to have a complete X-Men set.
I missed that. Dang it.
Oh, yes. I got it in 4K for $9. So I was like,
nice.
Yeah, so it's not, I don't think it's horrible. I don't think it's one of the worst movies of the year, but definitely was a disappointment for me. So, but happy that it made your number 5. Or what, 4? Was it 4? Yeah. 4. All right, Fred, we'll pass it back to you. What's your number 4?
Number 4 was Alexander Hamilton. I freaking loved it.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. I
talk about blindside.
It blindsided me. I mean, I've heard people talk about it for so long. I wanted to go and see it live for a while now. I missed the boat when it was here in Arizona. So
it wasn't.
My friend saw it. I'm pretty sure it was Arizona.
No,
I know it's not the original cast.
My wife sees all the shows, and actually 2020 was the first year it was going to come.
I could have sworn he saw it in Phoenix. Well, it was in relatively close distance that my friend that lives here in Arizona was able to drive and go see it. So wherever he saw it, yeah. I
was just talking Tucson.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was a Phoenix release at some point. But anyway, I wanted to see it. I missed the boat. And then when I saw that it was dropping on Disney Plus, I got super excited. And I did not, though, expect for it to hit me as much as it did. You want to talk about good acting? Like, you got to sit down and watch this movie. And again, I know it's like, I have a hard time calling it a movie because it's a play, but it is in movie form. And they do different things with the camera and everything to try and capture a play in a cinematic way. And I think it's cool because you get the experience of a play, but kind of like the best seats in the house because you're seeing so many different angles. I really like what they did with the camera. The songs are phenomenal. If you've only ever heard the songs, I would still recommend watching this because when you're seeing the persons that are playing them and you see the story unfolding in that way, like when it's just the words, it's different in your head. And when you see the actual actors playing it, it makes it so much more sense. And also, the acting is phenomenal. I mean, you're talking top level acting for every single one of these people, and the singing, to see what they can do with words is just mind-blowing. Like, some of the songs, I'm just sitting there like, how did they remember this? And even if you tell me that this was edited because it's a movie, the guys that do the play, it's not edited, and most of everybody that was involved had done it in some shape or form. So like, it is just an astounding piece of entertainment, and I was completely blown away. I was captivated. I was crying. Like, it hit every emotion. Like, I was
Did you not know that he died?
No,
Spoiler alert, guys. Sorry.
I knew the history that he, what happened to him, but no, I mean, it just hit. It's emotional in that way, and there's just a couple different actors that like I've seen them cast in some upcoming things, and I'm like, oh, that dude was in Hamilton. He's so good. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you haven't. It is a long watch, but even if you took breaks and came back to it and whatnot, it's worth it because
Like
it
they do
is an
at the play.
experience. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's got an intermission in the middle.
I literally watched through it the whole entire thing nonstop. I was that into it, and I just thought it was fantastic. So that's my number 4.
Oh,
What do you think, peeps?
it's a really good movie or film or play. It's really good. It's great. What is his name?
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes. Did not know that he was like one of the probably like the main composer for like the Moana movie, which I absolutely love the music of that movie. And there's a couple movies that he's kind of tied to coming in 2021 that he is the musical.
Yeah, he's doing the songs
of.
for the new Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
His original play In the Heights is one of the movies coming out later.
It has one of the actors from
Hamilton. Yep. That's one
So,
of the HBO Max WB movies.
I this is one of those movies where it popped up on social media. All my friends and everybody was talking about it. I'm like, just what is it? 5 minutes into it. All right. I get it, y'all. I get it. All right. And so I enjoyed it. Had a good time. It probably not enough. I was thinking maybe I'll have a top 8 in there and throw that one in there. But it's like for me, like I like plays, but I don't like plays that much to like be excited about it. And I was a bit bored at some of the talking points in it, and I lost my attention a few times, and they started singing. I'm like, okay, all right, we're back. So
the funny thing is they actually never stop singing. It literally is song to song. There's no spoken dialogue in here.
Yeah, they're like kind of like rap talking.
Rap talking.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So cool.
That's what I thought. That was my biggest like whoa like moment out of it. It was that it is almost 3 hours long, and they never stop. There is no spoken dialogue. It is literally just track to track to track. I'm like, how do you compose that?
Right.
It's phenomenal. I will say so going back to it, I mean, it's good. It's very, very good. The songs are good. It definitely has some boring points. Some of the songs, some of the stuff was a little to get through, the less catchier stuff. And just how damn long it was. It's cool that Disney Plus released this one early. It actually wasn't even supposed to come out till next year. And because of the pandemic, they were like, we're going to throw you all a bone and give you something on Disney Plus. I mean, honestly, they recorded that in like 2016. It's old as shit. So they just sitting on it. It's a stretch for me to call this a movie. This is a play. I mean, it was just recorded. They sat a camera up in the back of the theater and just recorded it. I mean, it's not really a movie. So it's hard for me to judge it, or like this one would have never even crossed my mind to put onto a list, like, I mean, it's just kind of one of those side kind of things that, I mean, as much as I hate putting animated stuff on this list, like a recorded play, like, I mean, if they would have adapted it to a real movie, then yes, but recorded play, I don't know. It's a stretch for me,
which I'm sure they're going to do.
I'm sure, but yes, I have to disagree with you because I feel like they didn't just put a camera in the back. I know you're, oversimplifying, but they had different angles. They zoomed in.
They had a couple cameras in the back, and they said, "Camera 1, 3, 2, back to 1."
But
it's
also,
like Oscars. Yeah,
I still think this. I mean, it was the same as watching. Romeo and Juliet, where like they're recanting Shakespearean dialogue through the whole entire film. Like they add scenes and costumes and stuff for that. But like, I get your point, but I'm just saying, to me, I still think it was a movie, and I think it was damn good.
You have that right. Okay, we're gonna get to my number 4 right now. This movie here, a big pleasant surprise that I was not expecting. I mean, I thought the movie looked good, but I never thought it would be as good as it was, and just a really fun time watching it. This was supposed to be theatrically. It ended up going to premium VOD, and that is Love and Monsters. So absolutely loved this movie. This movie is very much akin to like Zombieland. Like, it just replaced zombies with monsters. It's post-apocalyptic. It's these meteors have come down and they've mutated literally like all the creatures in our world, and everybody's living in bunkers. Most of the population's been destroyed, and of course his girl is in another bunker way ways away, and he's got to make the trek to go try and find her, and obviously try not to die from all the crazy creatures that are out there. But it's funny, it's action packed, it has a ton of heart. It was such a big pleasant surprise for me, man, and just a lot of the characters that pop up. I mean, Dylan O'Brien's fantastic in this. It's got the chick from Iron Fist, she is fantastic in this. Yondu pops up in this. I mean, it's got a lot of people that just kind of pop in and out, and it's just, like I said, it's fun. If you like that kind of Zombieland vibe, where it's action packed but it's funny at the same time, I think you'll really dig this, and it was easily one of my favorite movies of the year. So Love and Monsters at number 4.
Did you, Brett?
You said I'm first.
Okay. All right. I haven't seen it.
It's on the list.
It's number 2 on the list. It truly is. It literally has 2 of the best, my favorite ingredients in movies. Yeah, love and monsters. I'm a big mush when we have an action movie or a non-romantic comedy movie where like love is the driving factor of like the main character or their their passion. Thanos, my favorite comic book villain in the comic books, is driven by love. So it's a thing that I love. And it's funny because I was on my voodoos and I was looking through things coming, and I really enjoy watching horrible trailers to movies and putting that on the movies I'm going to watch list. Like what was it, Frigginz? The Velocipaster.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And like Santa Jaws. They're great horrible movies, and I saw this Love and Monsters. I'm like, God, this is going to be bad. Let me check it out. Holy shit, I want to watch this movie. It's such a good trailer. It looks great. I can't wait to watch it. I have a feeling this probably would have been my top movie just based off of what I've heard about it and what I am anticipating from it. It looks like it'll be my cup of tea.
There you go.
Well, I don't know if you heard, but they're changing Godzilla vs. King Kong into a romantic comedy, so it's Love with Monsters.
No, I thought it was Godzilla Loves Kong.
That's what it is. That's right. No, well,
Godzilla Heart Kong. They put
Yes.
like a little stamp of heart over the V. Okay.
Godzilla Heart
It's
Kong.
like blades that come down and then they form.
I love it. So for me, Love and Monsters is on my list. It's actually higher than your number 4. I'm going to talk about it now, though, just to get it out of the way since it's on the topic. And I have to say that I love this movie. It was a fun time. There are things that happen in this movie that totally catch me off guard that I wasn't expecting from a post-apocalyptic type world. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, especially Peeps, since you haven't seen it and you have a lot of hype for it, but like it definitely goes away from your atypical post-apocalyptic kind of storyline. There's some elements that are there, of course, but things, especially throughout the film, from beginning into the middle and then leading to the end, things are happening that I was like, okay, this is when X, Y, and Z is going to happen. And then it doesn't. And I'm like, oh, that person's going to do X, Y, and Z. And then they don't. And like, it's just really interesting to see the take. And I really like the love aspect is kind of emphasized in multiple ways that you don't necessarily expect. And I just truly enjoyed watching it. I think it's even like fun for, I think it's like PG-13, so it's not like this like super, there's at least one or two gruesome scenes, but it's not that bad. And I think I want to say like fun for the family, but not like, you know, little ones. But maybe, I mean, your kids have seen Gremlins, so I'm sure it's probably just as fun.
We've watched Krampus. It's fine.
Okay, yeah. Then I think they would enjoy it. But that's my point. Is like it reminds me of the movies I probably would have watched as a kid and really, really loved anyway. I mean, I was watching Predator and RoboCop and Aliens as a kid, so it doesn't really matter. But like, nonetheless, I think that it's PG-13 for a reason. And correct me if I'm wrong, Don, but I'm pretty sure it was PG-13, right?
Yeah.
So it is open to a multitude of audience viewers, and it's just a good time, and I absolutely love that movie.
All right. Was it your number 3?
It was not.
Okay. I was gonna try to reroute this. So that was.
I appreciate that, but no.
All right. Well, we'll bounce it back, peeps. Number 3. What you got?
My number 3 is DX's number 10, and that is Sonic the Hedgehog. Exactly what Don said, 100%. I was, after seeing his derpy face from the first trailer and a Sonic, like what is Sonic, like anybody who's played the original Sonic the Hedgehog games, it's like, what is the story outside of you're just a dude running around collecting coins and Chaos Emeralds fighting a fat dude in a robot suit? Like, okay. And the loop-de-loops. You can't forget about the loop-de-loops. So I, again, have no expectations going into this thing. My son has this love for Sonic, Tails specifically, but he likes Sonic. And, you know, going, I'm so angry about it. And I'm like, Super Mario all over again. And man, like, it was funny. Like, so funny. And Jim Carrey, back to Jim Carrey, the way that I love Jim Carrey. And even Cyclops was, you know, like it's a lot of those. That wasn't Cyclops?
Yes, it was James Marsden.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Donut Lord.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, man. Like it a lot of times, you know, these movies comes out and you only like the animated character, and you just. Doogie Howser, I'm sorry, but get off the screen. I want to see the Smurfs. You know, I don't care about anybody else. But this, I liked every single character, from the girlfriend to him to the bad guy to Sonic to and why am I excited for another movie? I don't know, but I want another movie. Mm-hmm. It was so good.
Mm-hmm. So glad that you brought up that Jim Carrey. I know I touched on it a little bit when Don mentioned it, but you're absolutely right. Jim Carrey being back to being Jim Carrey was just. He stole every scene that he was in, and it was just so fun to see him back in action.
And I know actors, they like to branch out and do different things and show their versatility in acting, and I can respect that. But like as a kid, like I fell in love with Jim Carrey and Living Color, everything he did, I just loved, and it's kind of brought back those old Jim Carrey feels.
Was very much,
definitely.
Oh yeah, well, cool. That's moving on over to you, Fred. What you got at number 3?
So number 3 is a 2020 film. I actually just watched it today, though. So this is the only one that I watched outside of the 2020 range. And I'm so glad.
Dare you?
That's only a couple days. But I'm so glad that I did. I've heard a lot of people talking about the trial of the Chicago 7. And I'm ashamed to say that I didn't know anything about this. And
I seem to say that a lot. For a guy who listens to an entertainment podcast every single week, he doesn't seem to know anything about these films.
let me rephrase. I didn't know. I knew there was a movie of it. I didn't know about the actual historical event of the trial of the Chicago 7. So, you know, I briefly remember, like in history class, maybe like hearing about this or whatnot, but talking or seeing how things played out, and especially like the courtroom aspect, and seeing what happened in that courtroom is infuriating on so many levels. Like I was like yelling at the TV, I was yelling at the judge, and just to see the abuse of power and what was happening was just absolutely absurd. And it really got all my emotions going. And maybe, you know, because of the year we've had and the big aspect of the protests and the police and the rioting, and how, you know, it's, you know, can be portrayed that the protesters are causing all this damage, but at the same time, like the police can do similar damage. And, you know, but that it was just it really hit home, probably because of the year that we've had and those things that have gone on. But aside from that, like if you look at it at a film standpoint, you have an epic cast. I mean, and the acting from each and every one of them, like they could all win Oscars. It was amazing. I mean, it truly, truly, another example of just seeing perfect acting and from every single character. And again, I mean, I was in tears half the movie. Some of it was angry tears because I couldn't believe what was going on in the courtroom. And then like other was just, you know, from the sad moments. And it just so much emotion in watching this. And there's a few scenes in there that just are, it was hard to even watch. And, but it's an amazing story. It kind of like woke me up saying, oh, man, I need to go back to the history books and look at some of the stuff that has actually happened. And it just hit me on a lot of different levels. So highly recommend it. Very, very good film. Outstanding acting. It's on Netflix, so there's no reason not to watch it.
Yeah, it is on my queue. I have not seen it yet. I know it's a heavy movie, and sometimes those heavier movies, it's like you're like, let's find something to watch, and then you're like, I kind of want to laugh, or I just want something less, you know, less depressing. So it kind of keeps getting shifted back on the list, but definitely want to see it. I've heard nothing but great things, and like you said, the cast is phenomenal, and
Yes.
I know all the major like top 10 lists of the year have that one included. So definitely, hopefully, see it soon.
Well, recommend it for sure.
All right, it's on the list.
Cool.
It's on the list. All right. My number 3. This is a movie that I knew would probably be good, but I didn't know how good it would be. And the rewatchability on this is fantastic. It's hilarious, and I love the way that it plays out. My number 3 is Palm Springs. This movie is phenomenal. Andy Samberg, I forget, Christina Milioti, I believe is her name. This is a time loop kind of movie, but does it in such a fun way, in a rom-com kind of way, where they're at this wedding, and Andy Samberg has been kind of going through this time loop and repeating this day of this wedding, and she ends up following him into the loop. And so now she's been dragged in, and then they're like hate each other, but then like each other, and they hate each other. And how do we get out of this loop? And it's funny watching it because they played the same day over and over again, but so differently. And the movie's just hilarious. It has great heart. Once again, it's funny. I mean, when that finished, I was just so happy, because at this point, when this one came out, it was kind of in the summer. This is when theaters were all shut down. We hadn't had any new releases in a while. And I was like, oh, I hope this is good. And at the end of it, I was like, this is fantastic. And then we went on vacation in July out to California for like a week. And then the people we were staying with, we wanted to watch a movie. And that was the first thought was, let's watch Palm Springs. And we threw it on, and they loved it. And it's just such a great movie. It's on Hulu. So it's a Hulu exclusive film. And I'm happy because it was a big hit on Hulu. It's one of the biggest, most streamed movies. It's great. I cannot hype it up enough. I mean, definitely being number 3 out of the whole year. Absolutely love this one. So Palm Springs is my number 3.
Nice.
Haven't seen it. I remember you were going and going and going about this movie after you had seen it, talking about, like, you know, how funny it is and how you likes it. So yeah, it's on the list.
This is one of those movies that I wish I had not seen the trailer. Like, everyone was talking about it, and I'm like, let me just play the trailer. I should have just pushed play, because literally, like, once they showed the twist in the trailer, I remember like hitting my pillow next to me and being like, son of a bitch, I should have just watched it. Because pillow. There was just a pillow right there. Anyway, so like I think that, you know, this is because I've talked to friends who have seen it without knowing anything about it, and they were saying like they had no clue, and when the big twist happens, they're just like, whoa, what's happening? And they have a really cool way to introduce that with the arrows flying everywhere, and it's just I wish I would have known nothing about it, but like you, Don, I absolutely loved this film. It was a pure joy to watch for me. And I'm not really big into comedy, so it really wasn't on my radar. But then it has that romantic comedy aspect, which I really like. So that hit home for me. And I mean, it just completely blew me away. I wasn't expecting it. I knew nothing of it. This is one of those every year. I feel like there's at least one movie that sneaks into my top 10 that I had no clue about when we did the anticipated list, that I didn't know of existence in any way, shape, or form. And this is definitely one of those. So this is coming up on my list here in a second.
Oh, good.
But I just figured I'd talk about it.
You hadn't mentioned that yet. And I was like, so you liked it that much, but it didn't make the list? Like, so no, I'm glad. I mean, yeah, this was such a pleasant surprise, such a fun movie. I can't see anybody really not liking this film. I mean, just the way it plays out, it's so hilarious how they handle the days, and the chemistry just between Andy Samberg and Christina Milioti is fantastic. They play off each other super well. They're both funny, and just watching how it plays out is great. So highly recommended on this one. So all right, well, that's number 3. We're gonna shift on up. We're in the number 2 spot now. So Peeps, what you got? Dose.
My number 2, DX, is your number 5, and that'll be Invisible Man. Again, mirroring everything that you had said about this movie. I highly enjoyed it. Frigginz, I'm very surprised, that of you saying that you don't like this, knowing you personally and things that you are interested in. I mean, you like that psychological kind of stuff. And I feel like this movie is less of a horror film and it's more of that psychological thriller. It's all about this dude that, again, in their relationship is physically abusing, mentally abusing, to the point where he makes her think that he is reading her mind, kind of like. It's a horrible, terrible situation that they did an amazing job of describing what she had gone through. We didn't see anything of their relationship outside of her getting out of the beginning of the movie, and then just the way that she describes what she had gone through, and the brother describing what he went through as a child. You're just like, this dude sucks. And the fact that, again, we know there's an invisible man, but like, is he or isn't he there? Or are they doing this artsy movie where this is all in her head kind of thing? So I very big, huge surprise to me. And Don, like you were saying, like, I think that making it technology was a great spin to the tale, because there's that clickety click that you kind of heard in the background every now and then. And in the beginning of the movie, you don't really know what that is, and then it shows that it's a bunch of little cameras and things taking pictures. And the way he looked when she poured the paint on him, it looked like this monster with eyes all over it, kind of like, it looked horror, like it, but it was technology. So it was really fun, really crazy. Probably a moment in there where I had an oh shit moment, and I stood up and I was like this for a good 5 minutes. Twice I've shown a friend, and I've turned on my phone just to kind of like, how are they going to react? And they great reaction moment there. So yeah, Invisible Man, very good time, very fun, a blast. And I'm glad that they weren't trying to tie this into the other failures that, or the other one failure, I guess, that we've seen so far. And this is a standalone remake, and it is a remake, and Don says all the times when people complain about remakes, like, if you like the original, go to the original. You will always have that. But this is a great example of somebody taking original content and honoring all of that, and then just reimagining it and then telling their story. And I love it. So, all right. Number 2, Invisible Man.
There you go. Well, you know how we feel about it, so we'll move on over to Fred. Your number 2, sir.
My number 2 I already talked about was Love and Monsters, so that did land on the number 2 spot for me.
Hell yeah, Love and Monsters, baby. So I like, at least that we got a couple matching up here in the top 5-ish area. So
yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, my number 2 has already been mentioned earlier tonight as well, and that is Tenet. So Tenet falls in the number 2 spot for me. Saw this one in IMAX. Saw this one in the theater a couple different times. Saw it in IMAX and saw it in Prime. So I mean, it is a big theatrical boom. I bought this one when it came out on home a couple weeks ago before Christmas. So Christopher Nolan's always been kind of hit and miss for me. I'm not the biggest lover of his like most people are. I appreciate what he's always trying to do, and he's always very out of the box, and it's always very different. Sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't. And this one just clicked for me. As much as it is, like Fred said, it's super confusing. You're just like, what the fuck? Like, even seeing it the second time, some stuff was better, but then still there's other moments in the film that I'm still like, why is this happening? But it's fun. Like, I mean, it's action packed. It's at this booming pace from the very minute the movie starts all the way to the end. So absolutely love Tenet, and that is my number 2.
I know I already talked about it, but I did want to mention, because as you were talking, it reminded me. First, when you showed that clip or that poster right now, even just seeing the poster, the poster makes more sense to me now. And then secondly, yes, that, or I guess it's not the poster, but that's, well, yeah, it has a poster on there too. Both
Front
images.
and back.
Yes, and I'm just like, oh, that makes so much more sense. But there was a funny little detail I wanted to add, and me watching this, I bought it on Vudu, and I was watching it, and my damn Vudu kept messing up. So literally, like, I'd be watching it, the movie would stop, and then I hit play again, and it would jump back like 5 minutes, and
Like
I'd have to
it's a part of
rewatch
the movie.
So I watched half the movie twice, and it did that like throughout the whole fucking thing.
The new
So
interactive experience.
exactly, it kept going back, and I'm like, and I didn't put that together until right now. It made the movie. It just what you said, interactive experience.
There you go. That's awesome. All right, we in that number 1 spot. So, Peeps, what you got? I feel like this is going to be a big get the fuck out of here moment.
It really is. It really is, guys. Yeah, it's been a rough year for me. Okay. All right. So number 1, animated. I'm gonna just go ahead and spoil that. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Don. No, you did see it, and you was like, it ain't even all that, but it is all that. And Croods 2.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, really? Are you pulling?
Have you seen it? Have you
number
seen it,
1 movie of the motherfucking year? This dude said Croods 2, A New Age.
I haven't even seen the first one.
All right, so don't you got no. All right, just mute yourself for 5. No, just kidding. First movie, it's fun. It's a fun movie. I like the first movie, and then the kids like the first movie, and we enjoy the Croods. Second movie, man, like I guess like this, I would just call this like a comedy. Like I was laughing so freaking hard on a few of these moments where I was laughing, and I was still laughing after the scene had ended. Just I'm like, why? Like, this is so stupid. Why did that just happen? And I don't know, man. In terms of story, it's fine. It's a kids movie, it's nothing big with that. But like, I thought that the computer animation, just where we're going with it, it just looked like a very beautiful movie. But it had this family that spends every moment of their life together, and just the frustrations that they have spending every minute. And it's like the Brady Bunch, not even the Brady, but just any television family that is just stuck together. It's like it's a perfect 2020 pandemic COVID movie where everyone's stuck in the house together all the freaking time, and just the hilarity that ensues. And I had a fun time from the beginning to the very freaking end, to the last big monster fight, to where they even put a hilarious joke in that. It was so fun. It was, and that's just it. I had a fun time watching it. Smile on my face the entire time. My kids are cracking up, and still to this day, my son will come up and we do a little thing with the movie, and then we're just cracking up, a high five, and then we just kind of walk off. It's a great family film for me and my family, and and for that reason, I love it, and it was my favorite. And I will also say, this is the first movie only seen two, but it was the first movie I saw after the pandemic, or after everything had shut down. Everything shut down. No one was doing nothing. I, get the kids. All right, guys, let's go to the movies. It is actually open. We watch it. We get our popcorn. We have a blast. There's two people in the theater, so like it was an overall great time, and that maybe that's why it's my top, but I don't know. It was a overall loved it. So
That's awesome.
All right, Frigginz, anything to add?
The only thing I'll say is I appreciate your passion of these family experiences, and seeing it. And Don, you've talked about this on your show as well, but like how the enjoyment of the watching with your kids impacts the moment. And I think that's, a lot of what this is. And when we're breaking down our top 10 movies, we are breaking down what we got out of it. We're not trying to say critically like the Oscars, like this is why this is the best movie or whatever. Like we're talking about the enjoyment that we got out of it. And I love that you stay true to that. And, that's the movie that you had that much enjoyment and that much memory to. So hell yeah. I mean, good on you. I don't know if I'm going to watch it though.
Good on you. Yeah, Croods. So I have not seen this one. I actually did not see this one because my daughter actually had no want to see it, which made me have no want to see it because I was the only reason I would have watched it. I was not a fan of the first one, and so had no want to revisit this family of barbarians, and just the sequel just looked horrible. I hated the trailer; it did not look funny at all. And when I showed her and said, "Do you want to see it?" she was like, "Nah, I'm good." So, and she never usually turns down animated movies. So, it was kind of shocking. It was one of those rare few that come out every once in a while. But I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll watch it at home, one day, just looking for something to watch together, and we'll see what happens. Maybe it turns out to be a pleasant surprise. But I'm very shocked. I was waiting for this one to come up. I thought this is what you were going to say when it ended up being New Mutants.
New Mutants,
so I was ready. And then you were like, New Mutants. I'm like, oh, crap, that's not what I was waiting for. I was going to drop some like AD joke or BC, but yeah, so interesting. Not what I would have ever expected your number one movie of the year to be. But hey,
2020,
like that.
That's all I could say.
Exactly.
2020, never ceasing to surprise me.
Well, I don't have any kids, so it doesn't affect my top list. He only likes 101 Dalmatians, so we'll see if 2021 maybe Cruella de Vil will be up there on my list. We'll see.
That would be like a horror kind of friend, right? Like...
Yeah, exactly. But so my number one was one we already talked about. I'm sure you put that together already. Palm Springs. Again, not expecting that, but my number one, I already talked about it. It's amazing. Love it.
Awesome. Great number one, Palm Springs. All right. My number one, this one here, more for a nostalgic factor. It was in my most anticipated list. It was one of the few that did not get bumped, and we actually got to see in the theaters. And it was just a movie I've been waiting many, 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 many years to see. And I finally got it, and it was a fun-ass ride. And my number one's going to be Bad Boys for Life. So we finally got our Bad Boys back. It isn't my favorite of the trilogy. Number 2 still stands out for me as the best of the best. That's my 5-star right there. But Bad Boys for Life came out in January. It was one of the first ones out the gate. And it was just great after, almost 15 years of not seeing Martin Lawrence and Will Smith together. They were fantastic together. They had that chemistry still. It's a fun action movie. It's hilarious. It's rated R, and I love that they kept that flow to it. And I'm excited to see where the franchise goes because there's a lot of rumors that we're getting that 4th one. And I'm just, like I said, when it came out, I was a little disappointed just because I wanted a 5-star movie out of this one. And that's what I had hoped after all this time. But at the end of the day, like I said, looking back on all these films, like in my enjoyment level, this was just a ton of fun. I saw it twice in the theater, bought it when it came out, and it just creates that awesome trilogy that I was hoping for. So Bad Boys for Life. my number one.
I saw it in the theater as well. I'm a huge fan of the Bad Boys movies as well, and particularly number one. I mean, I remember my friend and I, we would play like Bad Boy, get the toy guns, and I'd get my shirt and have it open and roll around on the ground like Will Smith, and
Bad Boys first point blank, right?
Yeah, exactly.
McLaren.
Yeah, you gotta be like Mike. And we just love that as a kid. So I also I had high expectations, but I was also worried, and particularly when they brought in the like secondary team, it reminded me of like when Expendables 3 came out, like they try to shift the movie towards the second team and not the main guys.
Yeah.
And in this case, I actually really like the secondary team. They pulled a fast one on me. One of the ways to get me to like the secondary team is you throw Vanessa Hudgens in the middle there. And then they gave her like this crazy cool hairstyle, and she was like badass with the gun. And I was like, all right, I'm in. But yeah, absolutely. So entertaining. It was a lot more fun than I was expecting, and, definitely hit on all the action movie beats. So I could see why that made your number one.
Oh yeah, you didn't get a chance to see this one, did you, Pete?
I did. Yes,
this one came out in January. You got no excuse.
That's the funny thing. Like, I thought this was like a 2019 movie, so it's like, it's not like I'm gonna be able to talk about it on the big,
I think this was number 2 on my most anticipated.
Yeah. No, I see that now. But no, I did not see it. It exactly like Bill and Ted. I didn't see the new Bill and Ted. I needed to rewatch 1 and 2 because I remember funny things and I love the chemistry between the two, but I just don't remember like the villain or even what they were doing in those movies. So I kind of wanted to rewatch those before I watched this one.
It's better if you just jump into the new one.
Yeah.
All
right.
Those other two don't hold up very well.
I rewatched the first one, and the intention was to watch 1 and 2 and then go watch 3. And after 1, I still had fun with it, but I was like, I don't need to see 2. Let's just go to 3.
You didn't want to take the bogus journey.
Yeah.
But Bill and Ted Face the Music is actually pretty funny for the most part. It's cheesy, it's stupid, but
what you would expect,
but it's fun. Yeah, exactly. It's what they're going for, and some of the side characters are actually pretty awesome. All right, well, let's run it down. So, Peeps, let's do your 7 through 1. What you got? Recap it.
All right, number 7, Justice League Dark Apocalypse. Number 6, Birds of Prey. Number 2, Trolls. Number 5, Trolls 2. Here we go. Number 4, New Mutants. Number 3, Sonic the Hedgehog. Number 2, Invisible Man. And number 1, Croods 2, A New Age.
A New Age.
Yeah.
All right, Frigginz, what you got? What's that top 10?
So for me, I got number 10, Birds of Prey. Number 9, Underwater. Number 8, Superman Red Sun. Number 7, Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Revenge. Get over here. Number 6, Tenet. Number 5, Soul. Number 4, Hamilton. Number 3, The Trial of the Chicago 7. Number 2, Love and Monsters. And number 1, Palm Springs.
All right. Okay, so recapping mine, we got number 10, Sonic the Hedgehog. Number 9 is Bloodshot. Number 8, Unhinged. Number 7, The Way Back. Number 6, Promising Young Woman. Number 5, The Invisible Man. Number 4, Love and Monsters. Number 3, Palm Springs. Number 2, Tenet. And number 1, Bad Boys for Life. So there's our top 10s of 2020. Now we're gonna roll into our most anticipated, and obviously we ran kind of long, just doing those 10, just a tad. So we're gonna speed round through the anticipated list. I'm thinking let's go 10 through 6, and then we'll do our 5 through 1, and kind of roundtable that, and kind of just quick thoughts. Let's not elaborate. Quick thoughts. These are anticipated movies, and some of these we probably talked about last year as well too. We don't know much about these films other than they're coming for the most part. So let's jump on into it. So Peeps, I'll let you start it off, man. What you got? Go ahead and run down your 10 through 6.
All right. This is the mind of Peeps, everybody. Mm-hmm. So number 10 is a movie that Don GTFO'd, get the fuck out of here, several years ago. But yes, that is Hotel Transylvania 4. Am anticipating it. I'm sorry. I enjoy the series, and the littles enjoy the series
as well, man.
and I really want to see it. And it kind of sucks because movies from my last year that should have rolled over to this year got bumped for Hotel Transylvania 4. That actually happened. So we're doing 10 through 6, you said, right?
Yeah.
All right. Number 9 was my last year. Because of the teaser trailer, it kind of went down a little bit. The music in the teaser trailer bothered me a bit, but I'm still super stoked to see it. Raya and the Last Dragon. Disney flick, looks hella dope. Number 8, Suicide Squad. I mean, dude, the cast, James Gunn. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to do my thoughts right now, but I'm just keep going. Suicide Squad, number 8. Number 7, movie I just found out about 2 hours ago, and just reading it and watching the teaser trailer, I am super stoked, and I honestly am thinking about putting this higher on the list. But for right now, it's the new Disney flick, Encanto. That's the one that's produced with the musical, composed by the Lin-Manuel guy. It's takes place in South America, it sounds like. So like right off the bat, like the music you can hear like in the teaser, and again, it's got, I think, the director, the guy that did Tangled, another big movie that I like, Zootopia, like a lot of people that did some really good Disney movies that I like in the past are in this one. So and Encanto. And number 6, also on my last year, big surprise for anybody that knows me and my MCU loves, is the Eternals.
All righty.
Nice.
Frigginz, what you got, 10 through 6?
This was it was difficult because it was a lot of 2020 was carrying over, and like Peeps, some things shifted based off trailers. Like some trailers brought things down and off the list, some things brought things up. So I had some shifting there, and there's even a couple movies that like we're so close, like In the Heights or even Black Adam. I wanted to get both of those on the list, but I actually didn't.
Not 2021.
That's what I was gonna say. Is
Gambit's also not 2021.
Yeah. Oh, whatever. And they're pulling
Spoiler
stuff.
alert.
It was hard to create a 2021 list because some of it I don't know if like it says it's gonna be 2021, like Black Adam, but like I know that it's not filming, so it can't be a 2021. So it's just confusing. So I hope that I don't have one of those on my list here. But my number 10 is Uncharted. I've been hoping for definitely Tom Holland, cool game. Let's do it. Number 9, Tomorrow's War, or the Tomorrow War, excuse me. This cast is going to be freaking amazing as well. So we'll see how that goes. Number 8, like you Peeps, Raya the Last Dragon. Now, Raya was on your list last year, not mine, but after seeing the trailer, I got extremely excited for that. Number 7 was Dune. Again, Dune was a little bit lower on my list last year, but after seeing the trailer, it continued to be on this list. Number 6 is No Time to Die, the James Bond. So we'll see if it comes out. They keep pushing this thing as well, and that's my 10 through 6.
Yeah, there's a lot of this list was rough, I'll tell you. I mean, because at first what I did was I kind of tried to bring over what didn't come out from our list last year, and then I started looking at, okay, well, was always intentionally supposed to come out in 2021 originally, and that list got bloated really, really fast. So trying to kind of keep what I was expecting, but then also adding in the new stuff. It was rough, man. It was rough. So definitely a lot of honorable mentions. You know, you mentioned No Time to Die. I mean, that's definitely an honorable mention for me. Dune is definitely an honorable mention. Looking very forward to it. But yeah, like that one never made my list last year either. I mean, it kind of slipped out. So, but after the trailer, definitely raised up for me, and I'm expecting a lot. So definitely honorable mention for me. But all right, getting into mine. Number 10 for me, going back to the MCU, it's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Don't know actually even much about this character, but I'm excited to see, what they do, kind of bringing in like an Asian superstar, and just having, we're gonna see the real Mandarin, like, I mean, just different things like that. that is super exciting, and I'm hearing really good things behind the scenes, and I'm hoping we get a trailer soon. And yeah, I'm looking really, really forward to this one. So that's number 10. Number 9 is also keeping it with the MCU, and that's the Eternals. This is one that we should have gotten already, got bumped again, and now it's coming out over the summertime. So don't know much else about it, so that's why it's number 9, because we still haven't even gotten a trailer or anything for it. So hopefully we'll see something soon as well. Number 8's another movie that's been bumped a couple times in 2020 and is now all the way to the summertime of 2021, and that's the Ryan Reynolds Free Guy. Free Guy was in my most anticipated last year. Still one of my most anticipated films. I love the trailers. I love that it's like inside a video game and it's comedy. I just think it's going to be great and can't wait to see it. Number 7 is another movie that got bumped, and that's the sequel to Venom. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Still looking super forward to seeing Carnage on the big screen.
Like the poster.
Yeah, there hasn't been an official poster yet, other than just the Venom title card, and Let There Be Carnage. But yeah, I can't wait to see something from this film. This should have been out in this past October, and it got bumped. And yeah, looking very forward to that. And then number 6, the other one that's been bumped, and this is one that, I mean, since I've been going back to the theater, this is one that this trailer plays every single time before every single movie, and it's been bumped multiple times. And now it's coming out May 7th, 2021, going back to the MCU. We're talking Black Widow. Hopefully finally see this one. I wish we could have saw it already. I wish it would have just went to Disney Plus. This is one that I would have just paid $30 on that Disney Plus premium access.
Yes.
Just be like, let me see the goddamn movie. Stop pushing it back. But yeah, so that's my number 6. All right. So pass it back to you, Peeps. What you got 5 through 1?
All right. Are we slowing it down a bit, or we still?
Well, we can kind of reflect, I guess, maybe after we finish the countdowns. Let's get them out the way.
All right. Yeah, I would say too, Don. Venom 2 would have made my honorable mentions as well. I mean, I don't want to. I already know a couple that are going to be on Fred, so I'm not going to bring it up. But I mean, even Coming to America, like that. It's been so long that I guess it didn't make my top 10, but I am 100% excited for that one.
Super excited for that.
But just 2010 so stacked. So, all right. So number 5 is DX's number 6, Black Widow. I mean, whether if you're playing a mobile game or you're at the store looking at toys, I mean, there is merchandise. There's like everything. Like I feel like I know all about this movie that I just haven't seen. It's like a movie I just haven't seen yet. And I again, Black Widow. Hopefully, I've heard things, but hopefully not the last time we see Scarlett Johansson in an MCU film. But I am really looking forward to this and all the crazy tomfoolery that's going to happen. And it's just been so long. I think that's why it's above all the other like Suicide Squad and Eternals. I really want to see it. They've been dangling it in front of my face this whole time. So, all right, number 4 is DX's number 10. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, like exactly what he said, man. We're going to get a Mandarin. We're getting a.
Oh no!
I have microphone issues. Can you hear me?
You're good now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, but dude, he is a kung fu master, and he's in the MCU. Like, I'm sold. Right? That's it. That's all you got to tell me. Yeah. I'm good. I was there for the announcement at the Comic-Con. So when they announced that, I was screaming and hooting and hollering. So I've been excited about this for a long time, and I can't wait to see it. So yes, my number 3 was on my last year's. Number 3, and that is the new romantic comedy Kong versus Godzilla. So those of you that have listened to any of these in the past, I don't need to go on and on about my childhood nostalgia for Godzilla and King Kong along with kaiju movies, but This one, it's going to be that cliche quintessential Batman v Superman where it's a versus and they're fighting until that moment where they look at the bigger and badder guy and they kind of look at each other and give each other the thumbs up dab, and then they go and fight the dude together. So whatever. And again, another movie that's been spoiled to death with toys. God damn it. Yeah. Number 2 is DX's number 8, and that is Free Guy. Free Guy was my number 1 most anticipated movie of 2020. It looks like a good time, and I have loved Ryan Reynolds ever since he was a guy hanging out in a pizza place. So I cannot wait to see this freaking movie with the video games and the NPC that is sentient. I don't know, but I can't wait to see it. So are we holding off for our number 1s, or are we just are we going to do it?
That was your number 2?
That was my number 2.
Yeah. Yeah, we can hold off on number 1s.
Okay.
And do 5 through 2.
Cool.
Go ahead, Fred.
All right, so Free Guy, I actually have still not seen the trailer, which excites me. I don't want to see it. I just want to see the movie.
Yes.
And because I haven't seen the trailer for Eternals or Shang-Chi, I didn't include them. They're Marvel. I'm gonna like them. I know I'm gonna like them, but not seeing the trailer.
Anticipated. You're ruining the whole point.
The trailer sometimes adds that excitement as one of my top 5s, but not those two. So I just want to throw that out there.
Interesting.
Ironically, my number 5, I have not seen a trailer for either, but that's Spider-Man 3, which I don't even know if that's even still going to be 2021, but it's on the list, so I included it. Now, while I have not seen a trailer, the news for this has got me so excited. I love the aspects of all the different characters that are going to be coming into play and pulling in the different Spider universes, so I'm all about that. So I don't need a trailer for that one. That one's still there. Number 4 was on my list last year for 2020, and that is Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. Back in the day, loved Top Gun when I was younger. Seeing the trailer only enhanced that for this Top Gun Maverick film. I love the fact that Tom's actually flying the jet. That's insane. But nonetheless, that's my number 4. Number 3, Black Widow. Again, the trailer, I know you've seen it a million times and you're probably sick of it, but like, I love that trailer. It hits on all the things that I like, not only being a Marvel movie, but like the espionage and the action vibe that it gives off. And it's very reminiscent of the Winter Soldier. And so I can't wait to see that one. So that's still up on my list as number 3. 1 and 2 could literally be one or the other for me. This is extremely hard for me to pick. So I went ahead and just chose number 2 to be Snake Eyes. He's my absolute favorite G.I. Joe from since I was a little itty bitty kid all the way through now. You guys saw me go nuts on an image. Oh, I can't wait to see a trailer.
I will never understand. But it's okay. I don't want to take it away from you.
Oh my god!
He has legs.
I love it.
Look at the temple on top of the hill.
Hey, I'm stoked for it. I absolutely love Henry Golding. I think he's awesome. I would never have expected him to be picked as Snake Eyes, and I can't wait to see how he portrays it. But that's my 5 through 2.
All right. Well, I am looking forward to Snake Eyes. It would definitely be an honorable mention for sure. Okay, number 5 for me is the Suicide Squad. So looking very, very forward to that. Obviously, James Gunn coming in really helps elevate this film. I mean, because it's going to have that Guardians of the Galaxy type vibe. It's going to be funny. It's going to be hella fucking gory. It's going to be crazy action. I mean, I think, there's a reason why there's like 20 members of the Suicide Squad in this film, because he's going to kill 15 of them right off.
John Cena, I'm sure, is going to be taking them all out.
Yeah. I mean, King Shark. I mean, all kinds of stuff. Dude, I'm just so stoked for this movie, and we haven't even gotten an official trailer yet, but we had that first look at it from the DC fandom, and that it looked incredible just from that little intro. So, hell yeah, that's my number 5. Number 4, I love this franchise to death, and they just keep getting better and better and better, and that's Mission Impossible. So Mission Impossible 7 comes out later this year, so that is my number 4. They've been God, I cannot wait. I know they're filming this one back to back with 8, and I just can't wait to see where this franchise goes next. Number 3 is one that Frigginz just mentioned, and that's Spider-Man 3. We really haven't seen anything much from it. We haven't seen a trailer, nothing, but just the hype I mean, I love these first two Spider-Mans with Tom Holland, obviously, Far From Home and Homecoming. What they're planning to do with this, Doctor Strange being in there, and we're hearing, we got Jamie Foxx back as Electro, and we got Doc Ock from, the Tobey Maguire movies, and
Tobey Maguire, maybe not.
Yeah, live action Spider-Verse potentially, Andrew Garfield and Tobey coming back, and I mean, this thing's blowing up, and it's gonna be its own little mini Avengers type event film if this goes the way we think it's going. Possible rumor that Daredevil's in this, and from the Netflix series, Charlie Cox coming back. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better and better. I mean, even you might get Gwen, you might get Mary Jane. Like, I mean, they're really, I mean, we're going into the multiverse, man, and it's going to be really cool to see. So Spider-Man 3 is my number 3. My number 2, and Fred, I totally agree with you. This is kind of my number 1 and number 2 could easily flip. And I think I landed my number 1 where it is because there is a trailer, whereas my number 2 does not. And it's more open, but I'm still majorly excited. And I'm very sad that neither of you two have said this movie yet. And that is The Matrix 4. I am so excited for The Matrix. It's one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I mean, especially the first 2 movies are just fantastic. And I love it, and I never thought in a million years I'd ever get a 4th film in this franchise, and the fact that they're doing it, and Keanu's back, and Trinity's back, and I mean, they're going for it. I have no idea where the story is going to go. I have no idea what's going to happen, but man, I'm excited. It's a year away still. It's coming out, Christmas, like next year, but man, Matrix 4 for me, big time, just number 2. Should be number 1, but like I said, I have a trailer on the other side, so I leaned it out a little bit, but I could easily flip-flop 1 and 2, based on my love for The Matrix. So
It'll be one of those straight to digital, right?
Theater and HBO Max, yeah.
Okay. Same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought they were going to make another one, and so that is exciting news. And this was on the fringe of my 10. It was close, and if had there not been so many 2020 movies, because I have 5 2020 movies on my list, if those hadn't got pushed back, I'm sure Matrix definitely would have made my 10.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Matrix is like, those movies, they're just like game-changing movies that just change not only like, just the way that we view films, and the stop motion or the slow motion bullet time shit that is in video games and movies and cartoons. It's again game-changing, but I was so disappointed by the 3rd one. It took away all my my burning.
You just gotta look at it though this is redemption right now. We're coming back to give you that other.
True. That is very true.
I'm
sure I'll be stoked by that trailer. So
just watch the first one again, and then you can just skip 2 and 3, and then watch the 4.
I like 2
because 2.
I like 2. Okay. I like 2.
I thought you were saying you didn't like any of them. So
he said
no.
Come on, let's not bring
3.
No, it's true.
Does not deserve it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, well, there's not much I can say about my number 1 because y'all done talked about it already. But that is Spider-Man. I mean, it's Spider-Man. In my opinion, I might have said this 1,000 times. Like, he is not my personal favorite, but I think without a shadow of a doubt, he is the best superhero that exists. Like, bar none. Like, he is the best superhero that exists out there. And exactly what you said, Don, what we've seen so far from Tom Holland's movies and what Sony is actually working with Marvel and allowing Marvel to, kind of, you probably shouldn't do that because y'all fucked up last time y'all did that. So just listen to us this time. We are getting really good Spider-Man films, and I'm sick of hearing as soon as I see rumor Spider-Man, click, I just swipe left, and then 3 seconds later you guys will throw it in our group chat. But I'm sick of hearing all this stuff. I just want to see it. I want to see these people pop up, and I'm hoping that this is one of those game-changing movies. And just like Winter Soldier was a game-changing movie, and Endgame and Infinity War were these game-changing movies, I hope that, and this is probably me hyping it up, and I'll end up hating it for this reason, but I want this to be that game-changing movie where it will allow us to get our Netflix superheroes, and I want an Emma Stone Ghost Spider. I want again, we can talk all the smack you want about Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I like Jamie Foxx's Electro, not the dude before Electro, but I liked the Electro. Like, he had cool abilities and cool powers, and he glue, and he had dubstep abilities, so I liked that. So, I just, and like you said, Doc Strange, just so much possibilities for this movie. I am super stoked and super excited, and I want to see some familiar faces, and I hope they're just not like little bit cameos, which I'm pretty sure they will be because of the amount of people that they've announced so far. I'm like, how the hell? But I want to see how they pull it together, and I have a very good feeling that they're going to put it together, and I hope even Tom Hardy will be one of those names that we hear or that we end up seeing. I don't want to hear about it, but I just want to see it.
All right,
nice.
Frigginz, what you got?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, there's just so much excitement for that, Peeps, and I definitely think. Could you imagine what it would be like to see that movie, to not know all the people that are coming, to not know about Jamie Foxx, to not know about anyone else that might show up, and just all of a sudden, that would have been an experience. But anyway, my number one, I kind of talked earlier about tonight about one of my favorite things, and that's Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat is my number one. Now, the thing that worries me about like Mortal Kombat and Snake Eyes especially is like the year Tomb Raider came out, the new Tomb Raider. It was like on my list, and right before we did the show, the trailer came out, and I watched the trailer, and I was like, nope, threw that off the list. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen with Snake Eyes or Mortal Kombat. I did. But right now, my number one is Mortal Kombat, and that's because that's probably my favorite, game as a young child. Because when I first got into the game, of course, it was Mario and things like that. But as I got a little bit older, I instantly fell in love with Mortal Kombat, particularly Scorpion. And then I actually really love the '90s movie, as cheesy as it is. I rewatch it like pretty regularly, and every time it just brings a smile to my face. So I'm really excited for this, and I'm very hopeful that we get a very dark and rated R version this go around, and I think that's the plan. But Hollywood always has a way of pulling the chair out from under you every once in a while. But if nothing else, you can look at the cast this time, and the cast on this is it's not stacked in a term of like big names that but like if you look at it, everyone is just amazing. You've seen these actors and things before, even if you don't know their names, and I just think they really took time to figure out who should be in these parts, and everyone seems to fit exactly where they should, and I cannot be more excited for to see how this plays out. So here's hoping the trailer doesn't come out and all of a sudden I'm like, oh man. But nonetheless, for a Mortal Kombat film with an amazing looking cast, I haven't seen them in costumes yet, but we'll see how that goes. That's got me the most excited, and I can't wait to see them throw down.
Yeah. That's definitely on my right outside.
I didn't mention it because I knew it was going to be on yours.
Yeah, definitely anticipated. I mean, this is one of the ones too from Warner Brothers. It's going to be theater and HBO Max same day in April. So we got to be getting the trailer here soon. This was actually supposed to be out already. It got pushed back. So big hopes, man, for this one, especially because it's R-rated. James Wan is producing. I mean, it's supposed to have fatalities. I mean, it's supposed to be very, very close to the game. So we'll see, man. Hopefully they pull it off. My only concern is the guy that directed it has never directed anything before. No. So I'm a little worried for this being his first gig. But we'll see. Hopefully it comes out good.
I've always been Team Street Fighter, so
yeah. We do need another one of them for sure. All right. Well, my number one is going to be no surprise to anybody that listened to last year's show because I kept it the same.
Yep.
Number one is going to be Fast and Furious 9. It was my number one anticipated film last year. It was one of the first movies to move when the pandemic hit. I remember that. I think like theaters shut down, and like in the next day they were like, we're bumping Fast 9 to May of next year. And I was like, no, what the fuck? Like this is going to be over in like 2 months. Why are we pushing this thing back a damn year? And here we are in January, and we're still going through it. But it just I couldn't believe it because all these other movies were bumping a couple months, and then Fast 9 just went a full year out. and I was like, ah, because I love the trailer. I love where they're going. I've been such a fan of this franchise. It's such a guilty pleasure, like, of just seeing the family together kicking ass, and John Cena coming into this one, and just I feel like it's going to take a swerve and kind of not be what they're setting it up to be in the trailer. And I'm just super stoked. So like I said, I could have flipped this with Matrix, but because I have a visual in my head of where they're going with this one, I'm super excited still, and it wouldn't quite be fair to not have it be number one again, since it was last year and it never got to come out. So Fast 9 is my number one.
I'm excited about Tony Jaa's character coming back. You know, like he actually survived, you know, that demise that you thought was going to happen. So
sure. I think that's going to happen.
Sorry. Okay.
I actually forgot. Like, as you were talking, I was like, oh, I wonder when they're going to get the trailer for that. And then you mentioned John Cena, and I was like, oh, they did have a trailer for that, and I've seen it, and I forgot about the things with the car and the rope and the John Cena and the jumping and the. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, never mind.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, hey, there's our Big Tens of 2021. So as always, let's recap it on up in quick fashion. So, Peeps, what you got? What's your 10 through 1?
All right. Number 10, Hotel Transylvania 4. Number 9, Raya and the Last Dragon. Number 8, Suicide Squad Dos. Number 7, Encanto, Disney movie. Number 6, Marvel's Eternals. Number 5, Marvel's Black Widow. Number 4, Marvel's Shang-Chi and the the Legend of the Ten Rings. Number 3, God vs. King. Godzilla vs. King Kong, for those who don't know. Number 2, Free Guy. And number 1, Spider-Man Untitled.
There you go. Frigginz.
Nice.
Something Home.
Number 10, Something Home. Number 10 for me, Uncharted. Number 9, interesting, is there are 2 names for this, so I don't know what it's actually going to be called, because it's one listed as the Tomorrow War, but then the poster says Tomorrow's War. I just noticed that difference. But something about tomorrow.
War. Yeah.
All right, something about tomorrow in a war.
That's the Chris Pratt one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And my number 8 is Raya and the Last Dragon. Number 7, Dune. Number 6, James Bond, No Time to Die. Number 5, Spider-Man 3. Number 4, Top Gun Maverick. Number 3, Black Widow. Number 2, Snake Eyes. And number 1, Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. Okay. I just lost my screen. That was weird.
Oh, you're back.
All right. So my top 10. And it did it again. Jesus Christ. Hold on. Sorry.
Oh, it's showing you
you're sharing it.
Yeah.
I could see.
You're sure.
My Zoom screen, right? Yeah. I'm like, what is it changing to?
No, I could see your top
10. You were
10.
putting it to your top 10 list.
Oh, and you could see it? See, it made my screen white. So I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
No, you're good.
So you can see it now?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, then I'll go off to my second screen over here. So my number 10 is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Number 9 is the Eternals. Number 8 is Free Guy. Number 7 is Venom. Let There Be Carnage. Number 6, Black Widow. Number 5, The Suicide Squad. Number 4, Mission Impossible 7. Number 3, Spider-Man 3. Number 2, The Matrix 4, or whatever that ends up being titled. And then number 1, Fast 9 of the Fast and Furious franchise. So there we go, guys. I mean, there's some good stuff to look forward to this year. Hopefully everything starts to kind of get back to normal. We don't start pushing this stuff back. I really don't want to talk about any of these films in 2022. So unless we're talking about how great they are. So it was a hell of a recap for our top 10 of 2020. And obviously our most anticipated of 2021, which is a massively stacked year since we had everything that was already coming out on top of everything else that was pushed back from 2020, making it a very crowded space. So hopefully these theaters can survive and remain open, and so we can get back to normal here, hopefully as the world starts to open back up after this vaccine starts to hit. So that'll do it for us, guys. We have been rapping here for about 2.5 hours. So like I said, just went a tiny bit on over schedule. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this Am I Still in the Air special episode here of our top 10 and most anticipated as well. So let's figure out, where can the people find you, peeps? Where can you be found on the interwebs?
Twitter. That's probably it. For my peoples on the Twitters. I exist on other platforms, but that's probably the areas that I will see my name.
That's the valley he ventures in.
Yeah.
Frigginz.
Well, I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, both the same name. That's at Frigginz, so Frigginz, Frigginz with a Z. But some new, to come news. Peeps and myself are looking like we're going to be on Twitch here pretty soon on one of our D&D streaming games. So if you're into D&D, want to check some nerdy guys role-playing and doing some awesome D&D stuff, I'm going to have more news for you to come. We're still working at the kinks, so keep an eye on that.
Hell yeah.
Good one.
Very
Good
cool.
one.
All righty. Good breaking news. Breaking
Yeah.
news. And of course, follow the show on Twitter at Am I On The Air. It's amiontheair.com. And follow me on Twitter at DXDonMega. And of course, you can download, rate, and subscribe to the show on all your favorite platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Podchaser, Google Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe. Check on over to the YouTube channel so you can see this video version right here. And of course, if you all just like the audio, it'll be available like any other podcast. So hope you all have a great one. This is our first big show of 2021. So it's good to be back here before we get into this new year. So always nice to put a nice little bow on 2020 and wrap that baby up. So Thanks guys for jumping on, joining us for this jam-packed awesome edition. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts, what made your top 10, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.